जिसको हम कहते हैं कि सशक्त होकर के, मजबूत होकर के, पूरे कोऑर्डिनेशन के साथ, so that there is a zero error of failure, and that is how the governments and militaries take decisions. If the Pakistan retaliates, the second strike has to be 5 to 10 times stronger than the first one. I would suggest to all the citizens, whosoever is watching, you see a suspicious movement, you see a suspicious object, you see a suspicious person, go to some government installation, government office and inform, then they will take care of it. Today the world is afraid of only two things. One is the terrorist acts, where anywhere in the world, जहाँ भी कोई आतंकवाद की घटना होती, तार आके पाकिस्तान से जुड़ती है. And second is, nobody wants nuclear weapons in the hands of irresponsible people. They had a minister called Sheikh Rashid. And he made a statement कि हमारे पास तो पाव के यानी कि 250 ग्राम के और आधे पाव के यानी कि 125 ग्राम के भी न्यूक्लियर बम है. And he said वो ऐसी जगह गिराएंगे जहाँ सिर्फ हिंदुओं को मारेंगे, मुसलमानों को नहीं मारेंगे. And if this is the level of their IQ, फिर तो हम कम ही बोले तो ठीक है. जो भी कश्मीरी पाकिस्तान ऑक्युपाइड कश्मीर में जाके वापस आया है, he used to say two things. सब तौबा 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 तौबा, गुर्बत गुर्बत गुर्बत.
Namaste, Jai Hind. You're watching or listening to another edition of the ANI podcast with Smita Prakash. My guest today is General KJS Dhillon, former Chinar Corps commander and former Director General of the Defence Intelligence Agency. General Dhillon has appeared on the ANI podcast episode 11 and episode 81. We speak to him about the Pahalgam terror attack that took place on 22nd April. So thank you very much for coming on the podcast. I'm looking forward to our conversation. Unfortunately, it's under the shadow of the aftermath of the Pahalgam terror attack and the near conflict situation that we are in. I would, today, as we are recording this, there are drills which are going on, civil defense drills which are going on, and most Indians born in the 1970s or after that have never experienced this kind of situation, other than probably those who live along the international border or the LOC. They've never probably seen bunkers or seen these evacuation measures which are being done. It's making people jittery, nervous, especially those who have children in the forces. While you are prepared for any kind of eventuality, the thought that it's such a probability level is so high is making people nervous. So, you have such a vast era of vast experience having led the Chinar Corps and having done so many postings in Kashmir. Could you tell me a little bit about, or could you advise civilians as to how they should approach the next couple of weeks and months?
Good day to you, ma'am, and good day to all your viewers also. To start with, these civil defense drills, as you said, those who are born after 1970s and those who are not living close to the borders, I have done both. I am born pre-70s and I have lived along the borders. I have studied when 1971 war happened. I was in Amritsar, and then after that I did my schooling from Firozpur. In the border areas in those days, these were the routine drills. Air raid sirens happening. In fact, when the first drill happened in Firozpur, I think day before, and my class group from the same school in Firozpur, and they were talking about it the whole day. They said, we have done it, we have seen it, we are now telling our children it's a routine thing. So it's a very, very routine thing, and it's not that the bomb is going to fall on the house of the person who is staying next to the border. It is just a collateral damage which can happen. Suppose enemy targets a particular installation, military installation or civil installation, and for some reason the bomb or the projectile doesn't fall on that and falls somewhere 100 meters, 200 meters left or right or above or below. So for that reason, people are told to keep the lights switched off so that identification of the target at night becomes difficult, and which platforms have those avionics or have the latest techniques of acquiring the target, for them it is different. But Pakistan's inventory is still not 100% state of the art. So it is in everyone's interest that citizens should keep the lights off at night whenever there is a red siren. And the blackout basically means you cover your window shields with some black paper or nothing else, the carbon paper, and draw your curtains. Even if you have the minimum light inside the room, it should not go out.
Okay.
And the evacuation drill which you talked about, ma'am, the evacuation drill is in case of war or in case of mobilization, and when the military armies or the army or air force installations are moving towards the border, the people staying in the close proximity of international border, they would be evacuating rearwards. The army units are moving forward, they are evacuating rearwards, and Punjab sector and Rajasthan sector, because of the rivers and canals, have limited crossing places on this obstacle system.
Okay.
So we don't want a situation where from this side the army unit is moving and from that side the civilians are coming and they bump into each other at the same crossing place or any other choke point.
Okay.
So that's why the evacuation drill for the civilians, rearward movement of the family, of the children, of the ladies is nominated. Okay, you are supposed to use, this village will use this track to come back to the main town. This village will use this track, and those tracks will not be used by the army.
Okay.
So there will be a separate tracks or the roads which will take the army into the forward areas, and separate roads or tracks which will take the civilians out of that border area into the safer places deep inside on territory.
So you are predicting or you are foreseeing like an Operation Parakram kind of a situation where there'll be mobilization of forces along the IB? Do you see that happening?
Ma'am, whatever happens, suppose there is no war, these drills are always good, at least people will understand their responsibilities, their duties. Suppose some sort of action happens and the mobilization does take place, then it will be so smooth that everything will be okay and nobody will get unnecessarily harmed. And in case there is a higher scale operations, I will not call it a war or a full-fledged war, higher scale operations, then of course even then these drills will help.
Okay.
Ma'am, I have done these drills as a child in Amritsar during 1971 and later on also as a school kid. It is very good way of keeping yourself out of harm's way. There is no need to panic.
Okay.
All these civil defense drills are preparatory drills. It's something like you are carrying out the drills how to survive if there is an earthquake. Now that doesn't mean there's going to be earthquake tomorrow. All civil defense volunteers and the home guards and even police and NCC, they all carry out these drills so that in case of an emergency, in case of a situation arising, we should be able to evacuate or survive without getting any damage done.
Also, it's ek taraf to NCC and civil defense people will be training others in the sense of they will be going to all these places, hospitals, schools, colleges, and showing them how to leave the buildings in case there is something. These kind of things will happen. What is the role of a common citizen? What should a parent do? In one of the episodes, you talked about your mother and how, I'll leave it to the audience. I've given the episode number. They can watch it themselves, where you describe, the role that your mother played of this fearsome lady who took on, to protect her husband.
Yes.
She did that. And you were brought up by your grandparents. Tell me about what is the role of a parent at this stage? How should they train their children not to be nervous, but to understand that we might be entering into a situation of conflict, and how they have to do their role as a parent, how they have to conduct their role as for their children's sake, for their community. What should they do?
Ma'am, actually speaking, it will happen the other way around. The children in schools will be trained and educated by the NCC staff, by the civil defense volunteers, by the home guards. And when the child from school comes home, I would request the parents to listen to the child.
Okay.
As to what he's telling, what he has learnt in the school from the NCC officers and others. Because every child will go back home and teach 5 to 6 of his family members, his or her family members.
I see.
Because it will be very difficult to go home to home and educate everyone. Like you mentioned, schools, colleges, universities, hospitals, or any places where there is more
Congregation of large people.
community centers. And schools are the best place.
Okay.
And there is a system in place of NCC,
Huh.
which is a very well-disciplined system. They are uniformed people who run the NCC classes.
Okay.
So that system is generally used. That channel is then generally used to educate the students about these drills. The students then become the teachers for their family.
Okay.
So, but I would like to say one thing: there's nothing to panic here, ma'am.
Okay.
There's no panic here. And if any of the audience who are watching or the viewers, if they ever been to Israel, you would see in a day there are 3 times air raid sirens. And you're sitting in a mall, you're having a lunch or a dinner, and suddenly air raid silence. Everyone moves into a place of protection.
But they have bunkers.
They have bunkers. And in our case also, the areas which is especially of Jammu Kashmir, where the ceasefire violations or cross LC firing was a norm, there also the villages have bunkers, underground bunkers, where they know it fully well. Moment there is a warning, they rush into that bunker. However, in places, I'll say Pathankot downwards, there may not be bunkers who are nominated for this. But then the villages will be told how to, protect themselves and don't stay inside a particular type of a structure. And you can go into a different type of a structure.
But so the Pahalgam attack has showed that the vulnerability is not just on the towns and cities and villages on the borders or on the LOC. They've come hundreds of kilometers inwards. So the vulnerability is even in other cities and towns in mainland India or mainland Kashmir, Punjab, Rajasthan. So the dynamics have changed now.
Ma'am, thank you for asking this question. And through this podcast, I would like to request the citizens, not only of the border states, everywhere, to be vigilant. To be vigilant about anything left unattended. You see any suspicious movement, or you find any person who is lurking around your locality for last 2-3 days, he may well be carrying out the reconnaissance, and that unattended object or bag or anything, it may well be carrying some explosives. And if you see a suspicious person who has not been in this area earlier, it is a citizen's duty to inform the nearest security force or a nearest government official. Because as a citizen, we must do our duty towards saving ourselves, saving our families, and saving our neighborhood.
Right.
So this neighborhood vigilance, I would suggest to all the citizens, whosoever is watching, you see a suspicious moment, you see a suspicious object, you see a suspicious person, take his picture, inform the nearest police post or security force. If nothing else, go to the nearest post office if you don't have a police post. Go to some government installation, government office, and inform, then they will take care of it.
You've headed the Defense Intelligence Agency, so it's very important for you to explain to our viewers why certain things which might seem normal, but there is a lurking danger in it. A person who you've seen for quite some time, suddenly you see that he's become quiet, he has locked himself in the room, he's refusing to come out, he's disappeared for a couple of weeks, days, and then returns and is not mixing and mingling. That could be signs of just normal depression or being on his own, but it could also mean that he has either self-radicalized or he has got training and come back. Signs that we should all be watching out for.
Ma'am, as a parent, we all keep our young children, teenage children, young adults under some sort of a, surveillance. Kahin drugs to nahi kar raha hai? Is he, having the right type of a company in his university, college or school? I hope he's not gone into a bad company. And ma'am, those signs, the way you narrated, the human behavioral changes are best understood by a mother. Because mother बिना टच किए बता सकती है कि बच्चे को तबीयत ठीक नहीं है. Because there is some connect.
Ji.
So I would request all the parents, all the brothers, sisters, family members, especially mothers, to keep an eye on our young children, especially between the age of 15 to 30. Because that is a vulnerable section of the society. And radicalization is one, peer pressure is another, blackmailing is third. There may be different means the enemy will apply to get a youngster to do something which is illegal, unlawful, and against the society. So these telltale signs of the behavior change must be looked after by every parent, every adult in the family. And siblings are the best people to give indication.
और जब पता लगे कि ऐसे कोई चेंज हो रहा है इन योर सिबलिंग, इन योर चाइल्ड, क्वेश्चन एंड देन सीक हेल्प, है ना?
Absolutely, ma'am. Counseling, medical help, and if you get something like, suppose you see these changes and then you search his room or her room or whatever, and you find some material, indiscriminating material, then you must inform the nearest, official.
For his or her good.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Ma'am, if you will walk into a police station to say this is what's happening, it is for his or her good.
क्योंकि अगर वो इतना रेडिकलाइज हो जाएगा तो कभी ना कभी तो बंदूक उठाएगा, कभी ना कभी तो वो सुइसाइड बॉम्बर बनेगा, कुछ भी उठाएगा. ही विल पिक अप एन एक्सप्लोजिव एट सम पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम एंड बी मैनिपुलेटेड. उस लेवल तक आने से पहले ही हम देख लें, जांच लें और पहले ही सीक हेल्प, है ना?
Ma'am, Operation Ma in Kashmir
हाँ.
is a live example of a thing like this, where young children have picked up the weapon, joined a terrorist organization. The parents have come to us. The mother name is Operation Ma, but parents, sisters, brothers, friends, headmasters, teachers, the village heads, the opinion makers, the elders, they have come to us and said कि this बच्चे को वापस लाना है. And the child has come back, and there is no case made against him, and he is living happily with his family now. Similarly, if something has come to the notice of the parents or the teachers or the professors, to go and tell the official agencies voluntarily is in the favor of the child.
जी.
Because tomorrow, God forbid, he does something or gets involved in something, and then his life is ruined.
Yeah.
So these are preventive measures.
Ji. The other thing is, it's not just the men. Because of which something which has happened recently, which we didn't even realize, is when the government brought out this notification that people have to leave, of those who have Pakistani passports, you have to leave. Those who are on visas. तब जब अटारी पे when we saw so many people leaving, तब पता लगा कि इतने सारे लोग थे और अपने बच्चियों की शादियां वहां पे करवाई हैं. Now that country sees you as दुश्मन मुल्क. People living here in Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, forget Kashmir. I understand in Kashmir they think that POK हमारा हिस्सा है,
Yes.
हम भी उनके हिस्से हैं, whatever they might think, and that's a different dynamics. लेकिन जब पंजाब 1947 में अलग हो गए हैं, even if you have रिश्तेदार out here, क्यों अपनी बच्चियों को आप शादी करके वहाँ पे भेज रहे हैं?
Exactly the point. Some may be genuine, like people marry all over the world in all the nationalities. But then if you marry a nationality, say you marry a American or you marry a French girl, then either she joins you here and she changes the nationality to Indian, she starts staying here. Now here the nationality is there, यहाँ पे आधार कार्ड बने हुए हैं, पूरे राशन कार्ड बने हुए हैं, all the benefits of the government schemes is being taken.
Yeah.
But the nationality has not been dropped.
पर हमारी भी तो गलती है कि ये
Yes, ma'am.
लॉन्ग टर्म वीजा क्या होता है? What is long term visa of a Pakistani passport holder for 16, 17, 20, 30, 40 years? ये कैसे हो गया?
Ma'am, that is exactly the problem.
बहुत बड़ी
Our
गलती है.
systems need overhauling. Our systems need relook.
Yeah.
How can we have a child coming here, getting educated here, picking up a job here, having a Aadhaar card, having a voter card? One example I saw somewhere, he was even wanting to contest elections. No, there has to be some system in the madness also.
Yeah.
And if now we can identify all these people,
जी.
why couldn't we do it earlier?
So
And
this is
for decades it's happening.
Yeah, exactly. मतलब अगर एक या दो होते तो hundreds of people are going.
Yes.
और अभी तो हमने बांग्लादेश का भी सोचा भी नहीं है.
Yes, ma'am.
That is another
That's
can of
much
worms.
much bigger problem.
अब अगर वो करने लगेंगे तो we are looking at a different sphere altogether. And now I'm also noticing that ये पाकिस्तानी Twitter handles जो बंद हुए हैं, X handles बंद हुए हैं, they are now using Bangladeshi proxies
Yes, ma'am.
to do cyber. Now, you worked in the Defense Intelligence Agency. You know that information warfare कितनी बड़ी चीज़ है. Please explain to me how this information warfare happens by our enemy. And I'm openly saying our enemy now.
Ma'am, I'll tell you, while landed at the airport, I got a message from somewhere, okay, Dawn, Pakistan, so and so date. This is a news which has been published. Now, my request to everyone who gets a forward like this on a WhatsApp or on a Twitter or whatever, please go down to your Google and search for that particular newspaper of that particular date. They are all available online. And if that news is there in that newspaper, then that's a genuine news. If it is not there, then it's a fake news. And you must, before you forward that thing, don't become part of the problem. Before you forward anything on the social media, please be responsible enough to carry out a recheck. Because it is your bounden duty to be very clear if you're sending something, it is genuine and it is correct. Because I got a message today, and when I confronted that person, I said, ये fake है. He said, sir, फौजी ने भेजा था, तो इसलिए मैंने सोचा सही होगा.
Yeah.
Now, my request to all those Fojis also.
Yeah.
A Foji is also equally a citizen.
Yeah.
So, you are adding value to that, fake news.
Yeah.
Just because you are a Foji or you are a policeman or you are a IFS officer or you are a government servant or you are a journalist, that adds validity to that fake news. So, please be responsible enough and do not
Right.
push it forward without rechecking.
So also जो troop movement होती है, whether it is combing operations or whatever, हम लोगों पे, which is traditional media, हम पे कुछ rules हैं that we cannot cover it live first.
Yes,
2, we can only cover it after permission. And the officer who's conducting the search operation, वो मीडिया को लेके जाता है, एक जोन से कवर होता है जो कभी लाइव नहीं जाता. There are standard operating procedures about how we operate. We cannot do anything and we do not do anything because those we can get into trouble. Our licenses can go. So many people on social media don't realize that. क्यों दिखा रहे हो? क्या जरूरत है दिखाने की? भाई ये फौज हमको वहाँ पे ले जाता है. Conducted है ये. हमको ले जाता है हमको दिखाने के लिए कि हम ये काम कर रहे हैं. It also dissuades people from hiding, from doing things because and the local population knows कि हाँ यहाँ फौज है. For हमारे हिफाजत के लिए फौज यहाँ आ चुकी है. Combing operations चल रहे हैं. We are going to be safe. That's also necessary. So when traditional media does it, ये हम पर लागू होता है और हम responsibly conduct करते हैं. सोशल मीडिया पर नाउ बिकॉज एवरीबडी इज अ सिटीजन जर्नलिस्ट, सबके पास फोन है. सो टेकिंग दोज वीडियोज ऑफ फोर्स मोबिलाइजेशन उन पे कुछ नहीं लागू होता. दे कैन पोस्ट एनीथिंग ऑन एक्स, ऑन इंस्टाग्राम एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट. उनके लिए क्या मैसेज देंगे आप?
I answer it in two parts. Second part first, that you said when the forces are moving or the convoys are moving, anyone can make a video or take a selfie or give a location. They're moving from place A to place B. I had tweeted about it a few days ago. Okay, please be responsible enough. Do not take selfies or do not make reels of any troop movement. And ma'am, for the benefit of the audience, that tweet of mine has got more than 1.5 million views. And everyone, without exception, in the comment section has said, sir, we understand, and we will pass it on to others also. So if you educate your public properly, they will listen. And there is a need for all the people with greater reach. Instead of fighting on the Twitter, it's better to do some sensible tweets so that the public benefits from it, and the national security also benefits from it. Because it's very important, because that young boy, ma'am, of 15 years of age or 16 years, he's too excited to see so many army vehicles. And he doesn't even know that he is doing something wrong. Unless he is told कि बेटा ये गलत है, ये नहीं दिखाना है, देश हित के खिलाफ है. Then only he will understand.
जी.
And there, I think responsibility is of everyone, not only the government, but including the government. Every citizen has to be alert enough and educate whomsoever he or she can.
School teacher, principal, college principals.
Everyone, ma'am, opinion makers, the elders, sarpanch, panches. Even if there is a place where there is a coach who is coaching about cricket, even he should be telling the students, because उसकी सुनते हैं मैम. अगर उसको क्रिकेट की शॉट कैसे मारनी वो सुनते हैं तो ये भी सुनेंगे.
Anybody in a leadership position.
Anybody in a leadership position, anybody who has some audience under him or her, must do this duty as a noble cause.
Ek-
And ma'am, coming to the first part of your question,
Ji.
where you said the media is taken to the place of operations and media is guided and then media records and then in a staggered in time and space, media will play it out.
Ji.
Ma'am, this was a very, conscious decision. Because when the media opened up, a lot of internet things came up, and then if the security forces did not tell what they're doing, people would make assumptions. And if I can put it bluntly, उसने शाम को 8 बजे breaking news चलानी है, with or without your inputs.
Correct.
And ma'am, if that person, whosoever the journalist is, if he says, army is carrying out an operation in so and so area, we tried to contact them, they did not respond, or we tried to contact them, they refused to answer, and we tried to reach there, they stopped us from going there. Ma'am, all these things are showing that there's something we are trying to hide. And what that gentleman or the lady in the newsroom is saying, she's right or he's right. They tried to contact you, आपने उनकी बात सुनी नहीं, उन्होंने आपको फोन किया, आपने उसको मना कर दिया, उन्होंने जाने की कोशिश की, आपने जाने नहीं दिया.
Ji.
You are right in your own way, but he or she is right in their own way, but look at the opinion which is being formed. Opinion being formed is कुछ ना कुछ तो गलत कर रहे हैं, सबको दिखाना नहीं चाहते ये. So from the transparency point of view, so that whatever the security forces are doing, it is transparent enough, but at the same time, we are not losing out on the secrecy of operations.
Right.
So that decision was taken, and that's how at places where journalists are not in danger, that I'm saying physical danger of crossfire or collateral damage, that place definitely, and if you tell the journalist, they are responsible enough to understand that stagger करना है and time and space दोनों में.
So, 2 हफ्ते हो चुके हैं since the strike happened. In the first week, it was like, the iron is hot, abhi karna chahiye, strike immediately. The channels were also baying for blood that jab tak revenge nahi hoga. And we heard the politicians also understanding the mood of the nation said that, revenge will be taken, and everybody was upset. And calming people down would not have worked at that stage. It was, they sensed the mood and they said, yes, revenge will be taken, but, it will be served cold. Time and place will be our choosing. But people are also getting restless. 14 दिन हो चुके हैं, अभी तक कुछ नहीं हुआ. ये नॉन काइनेटिक क्या होता है, पानी बंद कैसे कर रहे हैं, नलका थोड़ी ना है कि पानी बंद कर लेते हैं. These are the kind of comments that are coming. So could you explain क्यों 14 दिन तक कुछ नहीं हुआ? क्या ये 14 महीने भी चल सकता है wait and watch game?
Ma'am, if you go back to 2016 Uri encounter or Uri attack, we went in with the surgical strikes by the army within 10 days. Go back to Pulwama. I was the corps commander. You have covered that extensively. You are there in Kashmir. And Pulwama was within 12 days, the Air Force went in to Balakot. Ma'am, that was a single service. When I say service, Army, Navy, Air Force, that was single service operation. Second one, Air Force, single service operation. So coordination required was very less. Here, this time, the government probably has taken a decision that enough is enough. Striking some terrorist camp here or there is not going to help. This time we are going to strike at the terror factory. That is the Pakistan military and ISI and the installation. And this time it's not going to be a single service or multiple service military option alone. This time it has to be a comprehensive national power to be applied on the enemy. And for the comprehensive national power, all arms of the government, military, political, diplomatic, economic, and some we don't even talk about, all those in conjunction, either in coordination and conjunction and synergized manner, time and space can stagger. Like diplomatic initiative of Indus Water Treaty, scaling down the embassy, calling back the defense attaches, the visa restrictions as you just mentioned in the first question. Now all that has already happened.
Okay.
That means there is a time stagger now.
Ji.
Now next, you never know what's going to come next and at which place. So time and space staggered manner, all components of the army will be applied against the enemy so that he learns a lesson and there is a, you can say, meaningful action. And coming to the point of abhi kyun late kyun ho rahe hain, why? Ma'am, governments and militaries, because there is a responsibility on the shoulder of the government and the military commanders. They do not take any decision in a haste. Government and militaries do not take a decision with the feeling of taking revenge. Governments and militaries take a decision after incident like this, they become more resolute. And जिसको हम कहते हैं कि सशक्त होकर के, मजबूत होकर के, पूरे कोऑर्डिनेशन के साथ, so that there is a zero error of failure. And that is how the governments and militaries take decision. Whether you call it revenge is best served cold or whatever, but it would be delivered at the time and place of India's choosing. As also when we are fully coordinated, fully prepared. And here I would like to put one more thing. It's not only preparation for the first strike. I don't know whether the question will come about the nuclear thing or the escalation ladder.
Yeah.
It's not the question of striking the first strike. Then if the Pakistan retaliates, the second strike has to be 5 to 10 times stronger than the first one.
Okay.
So that
What happened in the earlier wars, sir? First strike हमारा होता है?
like earlier what the surgical strikes in Uri.
No, I'm talking about 71, 65, all these were...
Ma'am, those were actual wars. Like 71 war, we decided when we will go in. At that time, Field Marshal Manekshaw was told in the month of April
Yeah.
to go in for, liberation of Bangladesh. But he in his wisdom said that we'll go in during winters. And there are reasons for it. After April, the monsoons come in that area and that Bangladesh terrain is all riverine. So when the monsoons come in, the rivers get flooded. Those days, very few tanks were amphibious because they could float across the river. And in the monsoons, the cloud cover is there completely. And the Air Force did not have the type of systems to pierce through the cloud and do the precision shooting. Mostly bombing was visual. Someone from the ground used to indicate with a laser beam. That laser would be picked up and then the bomb would be, or some sort of, or he would give a message. So going in Bangladesh during April, May, June would have been counterproductive.
East Pakistan at that time.
East Pakistan at that time. And if you look at it now, they went in December and 13 days the game was over.
Was over, correct.
So that does not mean that they kept waiting. Or they didn't do anything. They tried, they did everything, they coordinated everything, they built up their reserves, they built up their everything, and Army, Navy, Air Force, complete coordination. The world opinion. I mean, this diplomatic efforts are must. I said it's a whole of nation approach, whole of government approach.
Right.
The diplomatic efforts are a must because we do not want to go in for 2.5 front war.
Yes.
We do not want to go in like that time when American 7th Fleet came.
7th Fleet, yes.
The Russians came in for this side.
Yeah.
So that was the diplomatic efforts which had gone in. This time also,
Yeah.
once the diplomacy or the MEA, Ministry of External Affairs, gives the nod, we have taken control of the diplomatic opinion or the world opinion, and now we have got this much of window, now we can go in.
So when we talk about first strike, or everybody says that ये जो non-kinetic step on the water issue that we have taken, India is calling it non-kinetic. We haven't declared war, but Pakistan says it's an act of war.
I mean, this, if I may take some time,
Ji.
it's a very considered decision. It's not a non-kinetic war. If you look at Indus Water Treaty or Indus, Jhelum, Chenab, and then Ravi, Beas and Satluj. The 6 rivers, the bottom 3 are with us and the top 3 are with Pakistan. And for the benefit of the viewers again, the grain of the country or the slope of the earth, or जिसको हम कहते हैं ढलान जमीन की, in this part of the world is from northeast to southwest. That means a river which starts from Ladakh ends up in Arabian Sea in the western part of Sindh. And this flows like this. And when lower 3 rivers are with us, the water has stopped. And these lower 3 rivers were feeding Pakistani Punjab and Indian Punjab. And now that Pakistani Punjab, the lower portion or the western portion, does not get water from the 3 rivers which are with India, what they've done is they're taking water from Chenab, which is the bottommost river of the upper 3. There's a Marala headwork. Immediately as Chenab enters Pakistan, they made a big dam called Marala Headworks. From Marala, they have taken out a canal and linked it with Ravi bed. It's called Marala Ravi Link Canal. That means Chenab's water is now put into Ravi. And then further downstream, there's a place called Bambanwala. From Bamban, and the Ravi flows north of or west of Lahore. And then from Bambanwala, they taken out another canal, and that canal goes below the Ravi river as a Ravi siphon, and then feeds areas east of Lahore. And it is called Bambanwala Ravi siphon Bediya link canal. So now the complete Punjab is getting greenery or getting water for agriculture and other purposes from Chenab river, and there is another link canal which feeds the area of Kasur. Now if Chenab does not get water, now you imagine what will happen in Pakistani Punjab. And in Pakistani Punjab, Pakistani Punjabi Musliman dominates the complete Pakistan. Again, now one more thing, ma'am. There is where Punjab, Pakistani Punjab, the southern edge and the northern edge of northern border of Sindh province, where they meet, there is a desert called Cholistan Desert. And there is a Green Park initiative. Actually, it is not a Green Park initiative, it is Green Punjab initiative.
It's only for Punjab.
It is only for Punjab.
The canals.
It is Asim Munir's baby or idea to take water from Indus River and their number of canals and bring them into Cholistan Desert and make Cholistan Desert green. And people of Sindh, जिनका नाम ही सिंध रिवर के ऊपर पड़ा है, the Indus River
deplete them of
water, and there's a big standoff going in between Sindhis and Punjabis. The lakhs of trucks which are lined up on that N5 and 6, the two arteries of Pakistan which come from northeast to southwest, either side of Indus. So there is a big jam out there, and now these are internal fault lines. I talked about Pakistani Punjab getting water from Chenab. I talked about Cholistan Desert. We all know what's happening in Gilgit-Baltistan. There is uprising there. What's happening in POK. Afghanistan border, Pakistan military is stretched. Yeah. Then in KPK area, Pashtuns are up in arms, and Balochistan, the BLA freedom fighters, we all are aware. And come to Sindh, this problem happening. Now when internally they are imploding, this water treaty, which we have now said that we will control the water, is going to add to all these things. And talking about the enemy, when the patient is recovering on his own, then why should you do anything? Pakistan is imploding on its own by the small little act of just calibrating the Indus water. And Indus water treaty also, ma'am, if I can take a little time on this. You know, we have dams within our country, and there is a limited amount of holding capacity. After that, we have to release water. And unless we make infrastructure where we can divert this water from the upper three rivers into lower three rivers, and then further down our canals and feed the water into our Jammu Kashmir, our Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, Western UP and Rajasthan. Till that infrastructure takes place, we will now calibrate the water flow into Pakistan. Now what does that mean? This means earlier we were duty bound or owner bound as per the treaty to give them the data. Normally it's called data sharing. Data sharing is that now we will release so much water tomorrow, we will release so much water day after, and there is a fixed amount of water which you have to release anyway. So when Pakistan gets the data or information in advance, they cater for it. कि इतना पानी आने वाला उसको जहाँ पे रखेंगे, इतना इधर डाइवर्ट कर देंगे, इतना इधर ले जाएंगे. Now we will not share the data. Now we will hold the water, and suddenly after a few days we will release in one go. The water which was to go over 7 days in a calibrated manner could have been distributed to all the places where it is required. Now 6 days that canal or river is dry, and 7th day a gush of water comes. How much can you tap? You can tap 10%, 50%, 20%. Balance would go into the Arabian Sea. So this is how, if Chenab water especially, if Chenab water can be calibrated and diverted, I can guarantee Pakistani Punjab will be desert in next 50 years.
And what about the Kharif crop?
Yes, ma'am. Kharif crop, again, I have tweeted this. A lot of people ask me what is Kharif crop. Kharif crop and Rabi crop, basically the seasons, starting now till about November, whichever crop is sown during this season is called Kharif crop. They are basically water demand heavy crops like rice. And whatever is sown from November onwards till about April, like wheat, Rabi crops, they are water less demanding on water. And now that water demand by Kharif crops is going to be more, and now is the time we are not giving water. And that is where it will hurt. And Pakistan is an agrarian society. And if the Pakistan agrarian society suffers because of lack of water, because their Hukmran have not given up the policy of state-sponsored terrorism in India, then they will question them.
Will they? That's what I want to know. Will they come up in arms and say कि जैसे पहले कहते हैं ना कि ये जो दहशतगर्दी है इसके पीछे वर्दी है और ये वर्दी ने उनको इतनी बारी they have done this and people had got sick and tired. There are reports that people had stopped saluting.
Yes.
जब कोई वर्दी में आता है, that is the worst thing that can happen, where a civilian has no respect, and that was unheard of in Pakistan. उनके लिए अल्लाह के बाद आर्मी है,
Yes, ma'am.
right? So
बीच में कहीं कहीं अमेरिका आता है.
अमेरिका आ जाता है और वो भी बंद हो गया फिर उसके बाद.
Yeah.
They're trying to replace it with China.
Yes, sir.
But if there was this thing that Imran Khan was the most popular leader, उसको जेल में डाल दिया. The existing political leadership is so weak. Yes. So people are sick and tired of the फौज कि तुम कुछ भी नहीं कर पा रहे हो. अब ऐसे हालात में Asim Munir comes up with this Pahalgam incident. Is it uniting everybody against, in favor of the army? So will the Pakistani farmer be up in arms against the Fauj?
Ma'am, historically, whenever there is a problem or internal problem in Pakistan, which today are, I think, the most deep, economy is in doldrums. Pakistani rupee, vis-a-vis dollars, petrol, diesel prices, sugar, rice, wheat, dal, their prices. Their politics, lesser said the better. Anyone who is removed from the Prime Minister's chair, I'm using the word removed, either goes to the jail or goes abroad. And their diplomacy. When 370 was abrogated, other than one or two countries, no country stood with Pakistan.
Yeah.
That is the level of their diplomacy. And military, lesser said the better. And वो सीधी सी बात है. Why the world is not standing with them? One is they are a terrorist state. The second is we are 1/6 of the world in population. When I say 1/6 of the world, we are 1/6 of the market. कोई देश अगर सुई भी बनाता है ना, तो उसको बेचने के लिए हिंदुस्तान में आना पड़ेगा. We are providing that market. Secondly, we are the 5th largest economy.
So we have the buying power.
We have the buying power, and we are going to be the 3rd largest economy. Anyone who aligns with India is definitely going to be beneficial.
Rather than this terrorist state.
And otherwise, if they align with Pakistan तो बोलेगा अच्छा मैं आएगा मेरे को कुछ दे दो. वो अपना बाउल लेके आ जाएगा.
कटोरा लेके
आ जाएगा. तो these are the things which, and then today the world is afraid of only two things. One is the terrorist acts. Where anywhere in the world, जहाँ भी कोई आतंकवाद की घटना होती, तार आके पाकिस्तान से जुड़ते हैं. And second is, nobody wants nuclear weapons in the hands of irresponsible people.
Okay.
And today in Pakistan, you never know what will happen tomorrow. Ma'am, जब तक पिछले 75 years तक पाकिस्तान की आर्मी ने जो झूठ बोल करके, they even told a lie कि 1971 की लड़ाई हम जीत गए. Whereas those days, there was no internet, there was no Google, so people could not, clarify or identify. So they accepted it.
Front page news था
Front page news था. And then today, when everyone has an access to internet and, he is aware क्या हो रहा दुनिया में, और मैम जो up in arms वाली बात है ना, जो आपने बोला ये जो दहशतगर्दी है, इसके पीछे वर्दी है. We had a video coming out from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa where local police is questioning the military. And that chap is saying, तेरे जनरल को हम अपने जूते की टो पे रखते हैं. This had never happened in Pakistan. और जब मैम बच्चे भूखे मरते हैं ना, चाहे वो किसान है, चाहे वो गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट है, चाहे वो कॉमन सिटीजन है, कोई भी है, जब उसके घर रोटी नहीं पकेगी, जब उसके खेत में फसल नहीं उगेगी, जब शाहूकार का कर्जा वापस नहीं दिया जाएगा, और जब बच्चे भूखे मरेंगे ना मैम, then he has no other option but to raise his voice.
And the Punjabi farmer that I'm talking about, एक और नारा होता था पंजाब में, and that was for Nawaz Sharif. But now I'm seeing that they are saying it to each other. That nara was जाग पंजाबी जाग तेरे पग नू लगी आग. Right? They used to say that about Nawaz Sharif. But now, and they used to call him, anyway, I won't say this now. There was a term used for him. They used to call him Ganja Lohar.
Yes, ma'am.
That was also used for him. But now is the time for that Punjabi farmer to understand that अगर घर पे आटा नहीं है और तुम पैडी सोइंग नहीं कर सकते और बाद में you won't even be able to come up with your wheat crop. You don't have food security. अनाज की मंडियां नहीं है जहाँ पे स्टोरेज है. What are you going to do? There's going to be no, a shipload of wheat coming from America. That's not going to happen. You're going to become one of those ship to mouth situations जो गुर्बत वाली कंट्रीज में होती थी. What are you reducing yourself to? Where is that Aan Ban Shan of the Punjabi? What is going to happen?
Ma'am, then that shipload of wheat coming also would cost money. Today they're down to 4 to 6 billion of foreign reserve. Now it's hardly anything, and suppose there is a war tomorrow, there is some sort of an action. No country is going to keep their offices open in Pakistan. So all the channels of things coming and going would also.
But it's a food aid. Imagine food aid coming.
Ma'am, nothing comes for free.
कितनी शर्मनाक बात है पर.
आप मैम वो देश हो, मतलब कि जो आप सोचते हो कि मैं दूसरे को पालूं, मैं अपनी तरफ से अपने जो कमाई में से कुछ हिस्सा दे करके आई शुड डू समथिंग फॉर अदर्स. और यहाँ पर हालत यह है कि आपके हुक्मरानों ने आपको उस कगार पे लाके खड़ा कर दिया है कि आपके पास मांगने के अलावा अभी और कोई चारा नहीं रह गया.
What a shame.
What a fall of pride.
Yeah.
वो जो है ना, जाग पंजाबी जाग तेरी पग नू लगी आग. That where is that pug now?
Yeah.
Where is that Punjabiyat? Because ma'am, Punjabi, Pakistani, Musliman is not liked in Pakistan other than the Punjab proper. Everyone else, चाहे वो बाल्टी है, चाहे वो कश्मीरी है, चाहे वो पश्तून है, चाहे वो सिंधी है, चाहे वो बलूच है. Nobody likes a Pakistani Punjabi because they are dominating the Pakistani military, and in turn they are dominating the Punjab, complete Pakistan.
Yeah. They've even gone and occupied the Kashmir, which is in their control.
Yes, ma'am. Today, if you good
मीरपुरी है सारे.
मैम, आज अगर आप कश्मीर में जाओ, जो इंडिया श्रीनगर वैली, कश्मीर वैली है,
They speak Punjabi there.
या नहीं, वही मैं पॉइंट आई वाज कमिंग टू. अपने कश्मीर में everyone speaks Kashmiri.
Yeah.
In addition, the younger generation may be speaking English or Urdu or Hindi or Dogri or whatever, but everyone speaks Punjabi, and in their families and their houses with the grandparents they speak Kashmiri. Kashmiri. तो मैम, जिस भी सोसाइटी को आपने खत्म करना है ना, उसकी भाषा को खत्म कर दो. Why did the Bengalis came up in arms against the Punjabi Musliman? Because their language was being threatened.
Imposition of
Urdu on them was, so that's why the World Language Day.
Yeah.
The World Language Day is the day when Bengalis were protesting against the imposition of Urdu.
And in POK, they have imposed.
Yes, all Mirpuris and all. In POK, जो लोग वहाँ पे आते हैं ना, परमिट के ऊपर इधर आते थे, हमारे वहाँ जाते थे. तो बीइंग अ मिलिट्री मैन, मैं जब यंगस्टर था, जब मेजर था, जब कर्नल था, जब ब्रिगेडियर था, जब भी पूछना, जो भी कश्मीरी पाकिस्तान ऑक्युपाइड कश्मीर में जाके वापस आया है, ही यूज्ड टू से टू थिंग्स. सब तौबा 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 तौबा, गुर्बत गुर्बत गुर्बत. दैट वाज वन. एंड सेकंड, ही वुड से, सब क्या करें, वहाँ तो सब पंजाबी बोलते हैं. कहते हैं जो कश्मीरी, जो लाइक ऑल पीपल ऑफ कश्मीर हु कांट स्पीक एनी लैंग्वेज अदर देन द लोकल कश्मीरी, they would come back and say, साहब वहाँ तो किसी से बात ही नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. Because everything has Punjabi. And ma'am, now another thing which is happening now is in the Gilgit-Baltistan, the northern portion, where the CPEC is coming through, all along the CPEC, the schools, because जो ट्रक ड्राइवर्स आते हैं, चाइनीज वाइनीज, तो चाय का दुकान, ढाबा वाबा, राशन खाना है, रात को सोना है, कुछ भी है, all the schools are teaching Mandarin there. तो अभी देखिए, where are we going? एक सोसाइटी की अपनी भाषा खत्म करके दूसरी भाषा को आप विलिंगली एक्सेप्ट कर रहे हो.
दूसरी कंट्री
की भाषा.
Is not even your region. It's not as if they're learning Balti सीख रहे हैं या कुछ. No, they are learning
a new language altogether.
Okay. So you mentioned about the nuclear option. There are people who are saying it's about time that denuclearization of Pakistan should happen. Of course, that's a long-term thing. But a rogue nation like Pakistan, who their leaders just loosely use कि हाँ हम न्यूक्लियर बटन दबा देंगे. लीडर्स बात करते हैं, जर्नलिस्ट बात करते हैं, कमेंटेटर्स बात करते हैं, एंड दे होल्ड इट लाइक अ सॉर्ड ओवर आवर हेड्स. do you think that it is possible to denuclearize Pakistan in the long run? And in the short run, how should we see this?
I'm talking about the leaders. They had a minister called Sheikh Rashid. And he made a statement कि हमारे पास तो पाव के यानी कि 250 ग्राम के और आधे पाव के यानी कि 125 ग्राम के भी न्यूक्लियर बम है. एंड ही सेड वो ऐसी जगह गिराएंगे जहाँ सिर्फ हिंदुओं को मारेंगे, मुसलमानों को नहीं मारेंगे.
And he's a minister. He
And
was
he was a minister.
He was a minister of Kashmir Affairs and
Yeah.
Information Broadcasting
Yes.
Minister.
And if this is the level of their IQ, फिर तो हम कम ही बोले तो ठीक है. But having said that, the nuclear threat or the nuclear bogey, Pakistan does not have a declared nuclear policy. His policy is very ambiguous and he keeps threatening कि मैं nuclear bomb चला दूंगा. I will take a little time on this. India has a declared policy. India has a declared policy that we will not use first strike,
No
no
first.
first use, and we will not use a nuclear against a non-nuclear state. But no first use, but on the second strike, we will retaliate with a massive strike with unacceptable damage. Now, why these two words are important? If you look at Pakistan from northeast to southwest, their east-west depth starts from, say, our Punjab, our Rajasthan, or Gujarat, and finishes with their western part of western boundary with the Iran of Balochistan. Compare it with our starting from Gujarat, going right up to
Arunachal.
Arunachal Pradesh. And their north-south, starting from KPK or for this side of Pakistan occupied Kashmir and going down to Sindh or Gwadar. And look at ours, starting from Kashmir, going down to Kanyakumari. I mean, they have in this small little strip, it's called strategic depth. They do not have the strategic depth to absorb our strike. When I say this, they do not have the strategic depth. All their major cities, population centers, 6, 7, 8, they are all within this small little strip of land. Our cities, starting from, say, Jaipur, going or Ahmedabad, going right up to Calcutta and further beyond Guwahati and other things. Our depth is so much, when Pakistan strikes, we will be able to absorb that strike because, of course, there will be damage. But when we go back with a massive strike, which is our declared policy, and unacceptable damage, Pakistan will cease to exist. This is what their leaders are not telling their public. वो पब्लिक भी और उनके यूट्यूबर भी और उनके जर्नलिस्ट भी वो उछल उछल के बोलते हैं हम न्यूक्लियर कर देंगे. दे डोंट रियलाइज कि न्यूक्लियर करने के बाद क्या होगा. न्यूक्लियर करने के बाद जब इंडिया का रिस्पॉन्स आएगा उसको कैसे झेलोगे.
Their thing is कि रिस्पॉन्स ही नहीं हो सकता क्योंकि तबाही हो जाएगी.
मैम इसमें ना व्हेन वी से नो फर्स्ट यूज, लेट मी एम्पलीफाई दिस. इन द सिक्योरिटी establishment, there is also a thinking that no first use does not mean that we will wait for him to strike. Nuclear bombs are not kept at one place. Warhead is kept at other place. The launch projectile is kept at other place so that, there is no accident. So when the coupling or mating starts.
How do we know when the coupling?
Now our intelligence will know.
Okay.
Because these are not small things and we know where their things are located.
Okay.
And those places are always under surveillance. Not only India, the world is keeping them under surveillance.
Oh, okay.
So anything moving out or moving in those locations is noticed by all. So when the coupling or mating starts, suppose they pick up a piece, projectile from here and warhead from there, and they bring it to place A, B or C, and now we know that they are in the process of coupling or mating or joining this as a nuclear bomb. And if in the process of joining, it's not for training. It's a live bomb. That is the time we should be very clear that this is the first strike of Pakistan.
Okay.
And we, as far as I believe, we are well within our rights to prevent that first strike
Okay.
for the safety of our citizens. And it is well within the declared policy of ours that we will not do first strike, but we will not allow him also to do the first strike, which he is very much close to doing it.
So what is the possibility of it being a chota bomb, a dirty bomb? What is that?
Tactical bomb, or a lot of people call it by various
pav
names.
by pav kilo wala.
Pav ke to nahi ho. But anyway, a smaller version of a nuclear bomb. Our policy does not differentiate between
Okay.
the quantity and the quality of the nuclear weapon which is dropped on, nuclear biological chemical weapon which is dropped on our country or our citizens or our forces.
Okay.
And I must amplify this again. a nuclear strike or a tactical nuclear strike or a small bomb on our forces inside Pakistan territory. Suppose our forces have captured about 50, 100 kilometers of Pakistani territory, and Pakistan says, मैं तो अपनी territory में bomb गिरा रहा हूँ, and it drops a nuclear bomb on our forces inside Pakistani territory. That is the first strike from our side. Anything on our citizens or our forces anywhere is considered strike one by the enemy, and then we are well within our rights to strike as a retaliatory strike, a massive strike, and unacceptable damage. Having said that, nothing stops us from changing our policy in next 5 minutes. Our government just takes a decision that any country who is supporting terrorism in India, this policy does not hold good for that country. We will strike first if required, as long as it's a nuclear state.
But we have a nuclear doctrine, aren't we? We're not signatories to.
No, man, there is no signatory. We are not even signatory with Pakistan. The CTBT and all those things of the past, nobody is. We are not signatory to anything. It is as a responsible nation. As a civilized nation, as a nation with 5,000 years of civilization, we have taken it on ourselves as a responsible country, as a responsible nuclear state, that we will not use nuclear weapons against a non-nuclear state. We will not, no first use even against a nuclear state, but the second use will be massive and unacceptable damage.
So I'm going to come back to the Pahalgam incident. The government admitted that there were failures of certain processes which should have been in place but were not. But now it's 2 weeks and everybody's saying, इतने dense jungles हैं क्या कि छुप गए और अभी तक कुछ पता नहीं है. There was some talk initially कि ये plane चढ़ के श्रीलंका चले गए. Then it was that it's a fake mail. Do you think that they are still in Kashmir? What do you think? Are they still hiding in the forest? Is it possible to hide for weeks on end like this?
Ma'am, since I was there when Pulwama happened, I was a corps commander. And we killed the people who had carried out Pulwama within 100 hours. So a lot of people, question me personally. कि टाइनी अगर उस टाइम पे आपने 100 आवर्स में कर लिया था तो अभी क्या प्रॉब्लम है. एंड मैं विद ऑल द ह्यूमिलिटी एट माई डिस्पोजल एंड humbly I would request or submit, Pulwama and Pahalgam are two different things from the military point of view. Pulwama was a plain area with good visibility. Pulwama was a place where there are a lot of built up areas, lot of population. So information flow is easy. And when people are moving, you can pick up. When people are communicating, you can pick up. Communication picking up was easy. And information, because Pulwama was a hotbed as it is. There are a lot of terrorist movement. There are a lot of informers of the security forces. The intelligence inflow was easy.
Okay.
Because of the continuous oppression, then continuous, ultimately you have to pay for the intelligence. Now, if there is oppression being given by a source every 15 days, 30 days, and you are paying him, he would come back with this information also. So all these things were in favor of the security forces. I can well say, nahi, maine bahut tir mara. No, they are ground realities. Now going in the same sequence, the terrain is not open. There is hardly any built up areas. There is hardly any terrorist movement. There's communication is very poor. Even from Baisaran Valley, the mobile connectivity is very poor. And if you take out these small little valleys, Baisaran Valley, Betab Valley, Yadu Valley, small little grazing pastures, the complete area of Pahalgam Baul, all around Pahalgam town, is thick pine forest, with hardly anyone staying inside those forests.
And forests eat up soldiers, kehte hain.
Yes, ma'am. And the forests and jungles and mountains, they eat up soldiers. And these forests are not normal forests, ma'am. These forests are where civilians generally don't venture into, other than the Shri Amarnath Ji Yatra, and that also along a very well laid out track. Yeah. These forests have primary jungle, secondary jungle, and tertiary jungle. And when I say tertiary jungle, undergrowth is about 6 to 8 feet.
Oh.
So if you are walking in a line, I have walked in these jungles as a youngster. If you are walking in a line and you miss the person in front of you by 2 meters, you miss him. You have to shout, "Oi, Ram Singh, thoda ruk, main piche reh gaya."
So this is different from the jungles of Sri Lanka or Dandakaranya forest.
The jungles, anywhere there is a population around. नेचुरल फिनोमेना होता है कि पॉपुलेशन जाती है जंगल से फायरवुड वगैरह निकाल के लाती है ओवर द सेंचुरीज, एंड फायरवुड और निकाल के लाती है, अपने जानवर लेके जाते हैं, जानवर वहाँ पे जो अंडरग्रोथ थोड़ी बहुत नए पौधे निकल भी रहे हैं उनको खा जाते हैं. सो द सरफेस इज क्लियर.
Yeah.
When the surface is clear, only the stem of the tree is visible. So there is a line of sight. Now where neither the animals have gone in nor the civilians have gone in,